Hello, everyone. So, new story today from Business Insider. It says here, microplastics have made their way into penises. All right. So I would like to avoid having microplastics in that area. So let's find out what we can do.
So a new study found the first evidence of microplastics actually inside of penis tissue. And scientists think that could be impacting male fertility. In reality, microplastics are all over our bodies. They've already been found in blood and in sperm, and so it makes sense that they...
In the sperm? That can't be good, because they're tiny and they kind of need all their parts functioning correctly.
It would also be in penises, but what are they doing there, and how bad is it for our health? I'm Hillary Brick, and I cover health at Business Insider. Microplastics were found in a deep tissue inside the penis called the corpus spongiosum.
Corpus spongiosum. Okay, the spongy corpse.
And the surgeon tells me this is largely what's responsible for erections. So he's wondering, is there some sort of connection between these plastics and the dysfunction? Broadly speaking, the definition of a microplastic is basically any piece of plastic that's less than 5 millimeters wide. So this can...
Does she have an accent? Millimeter? What did she say?
Plastic that's less than 5
millimeters, right? What did she say?
Millimeters wide.
Millimeter? Okay. I'll just let it go.
So this can mean just about anything can become a microplastic or be a microplastic. So there were two types of plastic that were the most common that the researchers found in this study, and those were PET, which is used in a lot of food packaging, and polypropylene, which is used to make bottle caps, like water bottle caps.
Okay.
These microplastics are not something you're going to see with the naked eye. They're between 20 and 500 micrometers wide, so that's like maybe 1 or 2 hairs. The sample size for this study was pretty small. It was done on 6 men.
Why do they have boxer shorts that are like with little sperms printed on them?
And all living in Miami. And
I have some of these I don't know what they're made of, what kind of material they're made of, but they're just really uncomfortable. They hug you very well, but they're not breathable, man. Like, just cause you to sweat, and it just doesn't feel good on your skin. I hate those little stretchy underwear. I have like 2 of them, and I never wear them. I keep them there just in case I run out of underwear before I do laundry, but they're so uncomfortable.
And all struggling with erectile dysfunction, and 5 of the men had microplastic in their penises, but interestingly, 1 did not. He's an older guy, a Cuban guy who lives in Miami, and you know, he doesn't do that much takeout. He kind of lives a traditional life. He doesn't really use...
You sure he doesn't use a lot of drugs?
Plastic water bottles that much. Kind of drinks from a cup and eats from a plate.
Sure he's not addicted to cocaine?
It seems kind of counterintuitive that an older person would have less plastic in their body because they've had more time to swallow plastic, but this is a trend other researchers have also found. So there's something perhaps about our modern way of living that is contributing to the fact that there's more microplastic in our bodies. The 2 main ways that scientists think that we are getting microplastics inside of us are either by swallowing them or inhaling them. So either from the air or from eating, drinking something. So it goes into your digestive tract and then it travels down into your gut. And then once it's in your gut, it gets processed and it can enter the bloodstream. And that's when it can just really go just about anywhere in your body, including in testicles, not just penises, but also...
Not the sack too, man.
So semen, blood, the gut, the brain. It's a little bit difficult.
The brain is a little bit more alarming than penis. Let's talk about the brain.
quantify how much microplastic is in our body, but one recent study suggested our intake of microplastics has increased sixfold since 1990. This is a trend that's expected to only continue. Our global consumption of plastic is expected to triple by 2060. So it's not like you can...
Those plastic forks, it just seem so stupid to me, because you could break them really easily, and then now you have no forks. Just get real forks that you can reuse.
Identify one source of microplastics. They really are everywhere in everything. Microplastics are present in foods we eat and drinks we consume. So if you go out for a to-go coffee, there's a little plastic film inside your cup. If you eat from a takeout container, it's probably coated with a shiny...
Yeah. The portion sizes, man.
Coating. The slice of pizza comes on a piece of paper that might have some little microplastics that you eat in your pizza. If you drink water, that can also have microplastics in it, either from the bottle cap, it might pop off and get in there. Another place that microplastics come from is the clothes we wear and when we do laundry. So these little microfibers, all these sort of new and often improved fabrics.
These are some ugly clothes. Just this whole lot right here.
That can stretch and do various things. When they get washed, those microfibers will come out of them. There's a lot of microplastic in the air we breathe as well. It's incorporated into the household dust. It's really kind of impossible to act like we could ever get away from microplastics. There are so many different chemicals inside of microplastics. There's like more than 13,000, but I will mention a few of the most common. One of them is BPA, or bisphenol A. BPA is one of these endocrine disrupting chemicals that
seems rather dangerous, ma'am.
Can confuse our hormones, and scientists have shown that it can lead to more cancer or more obesity, hyperactivity, decreased immunity and ability to fight off.
So all the problems that we have in the US could all be linked to this thing.
Infections. So it's one of these hormone disrupting chemicals that can impact the way our body functions. BPA was phased out of baby bottles a few years ago in 2013.
They used to give it to babies? Oh my God.
And it's been increasingly phased out of the linings of cans. The FDA says that the level of BPA we're exposed to in things like food packaging is safe, but the research on this is still in its infancy. Another chemical inside microplastics is PFAS. You might have heard of these.
PFAS, not slow. Perfluorokill and what's okay? Perfluorokill and polyfluorokill substance. I can't.
It's called forever chemicals. PFAS are a
She didn't even try to say it.
Class of chemicals that are used in all kinds of things, from raincoats to Teflon to firefighting foam and food packaging. PFAS are useful because they repel water, and so you can waterproof things or make
Yeah, you don't want to waterproof your insides, though.
Things more leak-proof or non-stick. And while they're really good at resisting grease and fire and rain, they are also really good at sticking around forever. That's why they're called forever chemicals, and they are also endocrine disruptors, so they mess with the normal functioning of our hormones and can cause some health problems. They have been linked with lower birth rates, lowered immunity, some obesity in children.
Obesity again. They're lowering everything but our weight. Cancer.
And also cancers, including testicular cancer. Another type of chemical is called phthalates, and these are really flexible, pliable plastics. Independent experts are concerned about phthalates because there's evidence they can influence reproductive development, leading to more allergies, issues with development like
more of that tisms. A lot of people with tisms nowadays.
More cases of ADHD, lower IQs, impacting brain development. but also specifically for men, that it might be tied to lower testosterone and by having an anti-androgenic effect on the body. Another plastic is PET. This is the stuff.
The PET, polyethylene terephthalate. Oh my God.
That a lot of bottles and bottle caps are made from. There's concerns that when it gets really hot, like above 100 degrees, can leach out some toxic chemicals. That there could be harmful effects over time leaching out of those bottles and bottle caps. The bottom line is whatever kind of plastic you're using.
So that's why they have the ridges on the cap, not just for people to have an easier time unscrewing it. It's also for the machine to just like screw the top on bottle caps. They don't want to have people doing that anymore. The machine could do it.
It probably has some kind of chemical in it that has some kind of impact on your hormones and your health. But there are a few things you can do to avoid microplastics. I've interviewed a lot of experts about microplastics over the years, and the one thing that everyone says is do not microwave your plastic. That's because when the plastic heats up, it gives all those chemicals and potentially toxic things a chance to leach out into the food you're eating or the thing you're drinking. My second tip...
I literally just heat up something in plastic. Like just, what was like an hour ago, and ate it.
For avoiding microplastics is to try to avoid plastic takeout containers, plastic water bottles, and to-go cups when you can. Just getting away from those and cooking more at home when you can is really one of the best ways to avoid microplastic in your food. The third tip that I talk to experts about is to vacuum regularly, ventilate your house, because a lot of microplastic gets into the dust in our house, and so if your house is less dusty, less chance for you to be inhaling microplastics. Some of the scientists I talk to are most concerned about some of the skincare that we use. All of those artificial scents and fragrances that are in there can have a lot of phthalates in them. So they recommend trying to avoid super scented things and trying to pick out more natural fibers when you can and when the price is agreeable, because a lot of those synthetic materials that we wear have a lot of plastic chemicals in them. This last tip is one that pretty much any health expert will tell you for anything, and it's wash your hands before you eat. Getting the germs and the microplastics off your hands will help keep more of them out of your body. These plastics aren't just passing through us and, going out the other end. They might be causing some damage while they're inside.
While they're inside you. Just destroying your guts, huh?
One of the leading microplastics researchers, Tracy Woodruff at the University of California, San Francisco, told me that she really feels like we're at an inflection point with microplastics where we're starting to learn more and more about them, where they are and what they're doing in our bodies. And she feels like this should really be a rallying moment for people and regulators to step up and start to regulate the plastic industry, much in the way that cigarettes were regulated in the 1960s.
Yeah. I mean, it's all the same thing RFK was talking about. Get those microplastics out of our bodies and our penises and stuff. Yeah. Hey, a lot to learn. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. I forgot the rest of the song. But until next time.